Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. What if your greatest suffering could become your most powerful teacher? What if the darkest moment of your life contained the seed of your most profound purpose? In Vienna, 1905, a child was born who would later teach the world about finding light in darkness. Viktor Frankl grew up in a Jewish family, displaying remarkable intelligence from an early age. By his teenage years, he was already corresponding with Sigmund Freud and developing revolutionary ideas about the human search for meaning. As a young psychiatrist, Frankl worked with suicidal patients in Vienna. While others focused on their patients' pasts, he helped people find reasons to live, purposes that would pull them forward. His suicide prevention program virtually eliminated suicide among Vienna's high school students. But the rise of Nazi Germany cast a shadow over Frankl's promising career. Despite having a visa to America, a golden ticket to safety, he made the heart-wrenching decision to remain in Vienna with his elderly parents. Looking at his visa, he asked himself, could I really leave them to face their fate alone? In that moment of moral clarity, he tore up his ticket to freedom. In 1942, Frankl and his family were arrested and sent to concentration camps. Within months, his father died of exhaustion. At Auschwitz, his mother was sent to the gas chambers. His wife, Tilly, was transferred to Bergen-Belsen, where she would later perish. Of his immediate family, only Frankl and his sister would survive the Holocaust. In the camps, prisoners were stripped of everything, possessions, dignity, even their names were replaced with numbers. Yet amid this horror, Frankl made a profound discovery. While the Nazis controlled his physical circumstances, they could not control his mind or his attitude. One bitterly cold dawn, as guards drove prisoners forward with rifle butts, Frankl's thoughts turned to his wife. I heard her answering me, saw her smile, he later wrote. In that moment of transcendent love, Frankl realized that while his body was imprisoned, his inner life remained free. He observed fellow prisoners who, despite starvation and abuse, shared their last piece of bread and comforted others. These individuals weren't necessarily the physically strongest, they were those who held on to a purpose, who found meaning in their suffering. For Frankl himself, meaning came through helping others and through reconstructing the manuscript on logotherapy that had been confiscated upon his arrival at Auschwitz. This vision, this meaning he created for his suffering, gave him the strength to continue. When liberated in April 1945, Frankl channeled his grief into action. Within just 9 days, he dictated the manuscript that would become Man's Search for Meaning, a book that has since inspired millions. Frankl's message was revolutionary. Life's primary motivation is not pleasure or power, but meaning. And meaning, he taught, can be found in 3 ways: through creating work or doing deeds, through experiencing beauty or loving others, and through the attitude we take toward unavoidable suffering. This last path proved especially powerful. Frankl didn't suggest that suffering itself is meaningful, rather, it's our response to suffering that creates meaning. When facing challenges, we can shift from asking, "Why is this happening to me?" to "What does this moment ask of me?" This perspective transforms us from victims of circumstance to authors of our own stories. Today, as you navigate your own struggles, whether relationship difficulties, career setbacks, health challenges, or existential questions, ask yourself, what meaning can I create from this situation? What purpose might this difficulty serve? How might my response to this challenge define who I become? Remember that between stimulus and response lies a space where your freedom and power reside. In that space, you can choose meaning over despair, purpose over resignation, and love over bitterness. As Frankl reminds us, those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how